Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and my name is Evil Dragon XXL. I'm back again after having some game issues last week when it deleted itself from existence. I'm joined as per usual by the one and only Mr. Brent. Say hello, Brent.
Hello. It's great to be back here, especially with you after last week not being here. Due to the game just doing a typical Codemasters thing.
Indeed, well, we're here at the beautiful Spa-Francorchamps, of course, built back in the 1920s, of course. Well, it was a bit older than that. It used to be a field back in the day. This circuit we're currently racing on first hosted its race in 1985, with this new modern layout, of course. Previously used to run on almost a 14-kilometre long circuit that went its complete way around pretty much everywhere. But it's your version of the circuit, a fan favourite for commentators, for drivers alike. Probably my favourite track of all time. Maybe Fuji's up there as well. But what do you think of this circuit, Bren?
It's certainly a good track in the sense of it's a proper racing track. It's not so much like, apart from Eau Rouge and Radion, it's not so much open space. The edge of the track is grass, and this is one thing I will always go on and on about tracks. It should be straight grass and gravel. If there's no curb, then it doesn't matter. It teaches the driver to stay right in the track limits, and also it's an okay track, like I said, but it's not one of my favourites.
Indeed. The question is, what is your favourite circuit?
You see, this is a hard one because I don't really have like a favourite, but I'd have to go for something quite like the Nordschleife.
Ah, yes, the good old Nordschleife. Last hosted F1 race back in 1976, mostly, of course, known for VLN now, and the 24 Hours of the Nordschleife as well, which is probably one of the biggest races of the year, apart from, of course, Le Mans and the Indy 500, which is this month, if you're always wondering. It's that time of month where racing gets hot. Monaco, Indy 500, getting ready for Le Mans. Everything's getting nice and warmed up. But, of course, whilst we're here, we'll go talk through our sponsors, by the way. And we have, of course, Next Level Racing, sponsors of the league, providing a GT Light cockpit as a prize. To our giveaway winner, we've got, of course, Liam RBS, the sponsor of our trophies for each season. And don't forget to go and follow his Twitch as well at Liam RBS as well. Don't forget you can also see our beautiful sponsors, 3M Sim Racing, sponsors of the league, by providing a pair of their sim racing gloves to the driver of most poles and the driver of the most fastest lap. I could do with something like that on my wheel. Of course, don't forget our partners, Vespertine as well. Partner of Vespertine, who support our championship prizes, and ERT, the Going Get Tough award as well. And don't forget our lovely collaboration as well. Time to print 20% off this week's track on the SD store using One Hub Racing. Repeat, that's One Hub Racing, all capital letters, of course. I went through that without an issue this week because I've got it on my screen so I can read it because I'm dyslexic.
But right, shall I move on to
Yes.
some interesting facts and possibly the driver's press conference, who Kong Hoffner was actually pulled into and was asked, tough start to the season but finally scored points last time out. You must be ready to make it 2 in a row, which he replied with, yeah, lost out in the first race due to internet issues and the second race due to an event I couldn't pass. Nice to be back, of course. I'll store points in Belgium. So very strong coming into this race, saying that I will get points. That's something that you want to see, is this enthusiasm. But from all I'm going to say is, from the past, I've known drivers say, oh yeah, I'm going to get points, oh, I'm going to get such and such. Yeah, they're usually in the end of a wall and something like lap 3.
Yeah, there's certainly always an issue, of course. Now, we talk about drivers who haven't really scored many points, and we've got to speak to the man in the Williams, of course, who told me earlier on, as I get my nice little sheet up, I think I'm massively underachieving my goals this season. I'd at least like to finish on the lead lap, and indeed finish as well. So, KK, hoping he can get some points today. We've also spoke to Colin Mason, of course, and he's really pleased with his season so far. 2 of 3 podiums he's got. He got unlucky in China, but he is pleased as his results so far. He is hoping for a top 3 at the end of this season. So a few drivers hoping for some good results. I'm going to see Luke saying his favourite track is the old Hockenheim Ring, of course. Everyone loves that circuit.
It's a stellar track. It's a, like I say, it's another one of these proper tracks. You've got runoff, but there's not a lot of it apart from turn 1.
Most certainly indeed. Well, let's get ready to go in a few moments' time. Whilst we're just going and scrolling through the thing, we'll let you know, by the way, your official results from last week. That was Ali B taking up the victory from Mr. Casper the Ghost in second position. Cloudy Balloons finished third last week, ahead of Neon in fourth. GM a fine fifth, ahead of Konkofner in sixth. Good old Cammy Boy in seventh, ahead of Jonas in eighth. Rich finished ninth in that race, ahead of Colin in 10th after a little more of a disappointing race last week. Hoping he can bounce back, of course, this week. SD Matt 11th, Waitley 13th as well. The fastest lap went to Cam as well, and the fastest lap also went to Bannister. The pole position went to Ali B, and the driver of the day went to Casper. So, are we going to see a different result this week? Well, let's see. Casper hoping to bounce back, of course, in this season and continue his charge. I'm seeing lower potential surprise in this race. We know how easy it is to go off and make a mistake, especially if we get changeable conditions. Watch out if that happens.
Certainly, Spa is well renowned for the changing conditions. It can go from wet to dry, dry to wet, no matter what time of the year it is. I mean, just going on some of the wet conditions. Remember back to Spa 1998 when we had that huge collision as we were heading down towards Eau Rouge. That was something like you never seen properly in F1 for a while now. Is a huge pile up throughout the whole grid. Usually it's only like 2 or 3 cars now. Of course, I'm not promoting it because that is just dangerous, but you never see much action in his classic sort of way now.
Well, of course, the old massive accident to go back to the mid-1980s at Austria, the old Osterheim Ring. That was a massive start crash back up there. We even go back to last year at Mugello and we saw a huge pile-up involving about 6-7 cars. And pretty much your enactment of a monumental shunt down towards the first corner. But of course, they didn't even get to the start line in that one, so hopefully our drivers manage to get to the start line here today and likely can do a Mugello in real life. I think we can. Our driver's clearly better than everyone else out there, so let's see, of course, what we can do. But, Brent, we always got to look down into this season, but coming to the midpoint now, we're round 4, round 5, of course, next week. Who has impressed you the most so far this season?
Well, to say the least, I could say Colin Armacing, but after some results, I'm still going to have to go for Casper because he's just... To keep that pace up throughout the first four rounds without, like, little mistakes, it's just amazing. A consistent driver is what you need. It's not somebody who's good at one track and then good at another, but then rubbish at another track. It shows that he's good at different types of tracks. It's not just one specific style.
Most certainly indeed. So let's find out what we can do, of course. Tell our person I'm getting a bit more impressed over, of course, the season. It has to be the beautiful, beautiful driver of Casper. He's pretty much dominating this season, of course, on 58 points. So he's got a shot at this again this week. He took 2 wins. He's taken 3 podiums so far. He's really going to be the man. Everyone's going to be looking at going, can he add another one? Looking down the rest of the field, outside your top 3, I've got to say Colin's doing an impressive job as well, getting those 2 podiums. Of course, didn't have a good race last week. Looking down the rest of the field as well, we've got the likes of the people I think really should be getting up a little bit. We've got the likes of Cam. He's probably going to be a little bit disappointed, though he is starting to come back. He's now in 7th, so let's see what he can do this weekend as well. And of course, we're all hoping for Okiki. He's down the back, of course. Will he improve? I hope so. He's always got a chance of doing it. He's got 0 points, if I'm not too mistaken. He's got pretty much a struggle, but we could say we're down in the rut. You all hit rock bottom, but then you climb back up. Good to see, by the way, you've got some nice sunshine above us. The beautiful sun, 21 air temperature, nice 30 track temperature as well. So nice and warm here at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps here in the nice Ardennes forest.
Certainly, the track temperature is actually, I would say, prime for Spa tonight, so drivers certainly won't be struggling with the likes of tyre heat up. The air temperature is, I would say, average summer in Belgium, but of course I don't know because I've never been to Belgium, but we're just going to go off what it was like in real life. But I wonder who's first driver on track, and I think that is Colin R. Mason in the Williams, so sparing no time to get straight out on track and is heading down towards Eau Rouge and now up Radion. As we head down towards Kimmel Straight now, of course, on their outlap getting ready to start a lap soon. All drivers starting on the soft straight away. No point using mediums because, of course, one hub. Oh, it helps if I don't have it on the wrong setting, but we'll gloss over that. The drivers, I would say Neon going on the mediums a bold call, but I say just going soft straight off the bat is more sensible here around Belgium because it's most likely drivers are going to do soft, medium, soft, and not going to spend much time on the medium tyres because softs can go for about 7 laps if I am right. So you might as well take them for 7 laps and then literally pit in, get mediums for, what is it? I've got to work this out now. My math is absolutely horrible, but give me a second and I'll work it out.
Should be a 7 on the mediums, should be 5 on, 7 on soft, 5 on mediums and 7 on the other softs if my maths work out there.
Thank you.
That is the strategy I most likely would recommend to the drivers, of course. It's one that are going to be more compliant because the medium tyres aren't going to be best around here. For example, it's a long circuit, but there's quite a lot of fast-flowing corners, and you're not really using as much tyre as you think because it's not those really sharp-flowing corners. It's more gentle, sweeping corners, which are more going to be useful for the softs. Now, we're saying this on the hindsight that it's going to be dry in the race, though we cannot say that. It is going to be dry in the race. Well, there we go then. Nice dry sunshine in the race. That's always good to see. As we get our first couple of drivers on the circuit to start their laps, and it's Colin right now coming up her route into Radion, then up the top of the hill, and then down the nice camel straight, flick it right a little bit gently there, and then build up the revs. 207 miles an hour, an ideal top speed around here. Rookie braking zone here, low on the left, down into the con we go. Nice on the right, nice on the left. Put the revs up on the exit. Nice and smooth through the exit of this corner here, and then down towards Brussels. Down here, right hand braking, of course. The car always wants to lock up on the front right. Indeed, it does so. On the exit of this, then you come into Speaker's Corner, as I always call it. Through here nice and smoothly. Then just let the car roll downhill as you're now starting to come into the compression of Podium. Nice smooth through here again, though. You can see the camber dropping away as now you hit the bottom of the circuit and slowly start rising back up through Fanulen. Nice through the right, nice through the left. Let the car run out a little bit wide here, but not too much. The rear end stepping out as they come down into Stavelot 1 and 2. Bubble first sector, of course, but he's the first driver on the circuit. Alain just have a few seconds to breathe. Look for the corner, of course. This here, of course, Blanc-Simon, one of the fastest corners in the world. Blinking, you missed it. 200 miles an hour through there. One small mistake and it's going to go into the barrier and a high rate of knots through the old, the fallen over bus stop, as I will always call it. Nice through there. The exit of the bus stop we go to the line. It's going to be, I think, about 141.8, 141.9 then. So not too far off. We've got, I think it might be Cam just crossing the line now in the Ferrari. It's P3 right now, of course, a slower on lap right now.
Certainly, I'm just going to move on to something that was happening during Colin's lap. Is that Okeke did a bit of a Giovinazzi slays least, but I'm just going to comment on the likes of the way that Colin's car looked going through the corners. Of course, it looked stable at some points, but you notice coming out of turn 14, I think it was stepping out and he was full, having to go opposite. Look, that shows that maybe they've got less grip on the front end, which is causing well, they've got more grip on front end, which isn't giving enough to the rear. Maybe it could be a sign of take a little bit off the front to give to the rear. But who knows?
Indeed, most certainly. Now, meanwhile, he's P13. He's currently on a lap. He's on those medium tyres. Let's see what he can do, of course. Right now, is he going to finish this lap off? Let's see. Through the bus stop we come. And exit of that low. So he's going through an alternative strategy. He's hoping probably to get into the top 10 on those tyres. Well, right now, he's last of all the results. He's P7. That didn't look like the most competitive lap I've seen out there right now, though he's right behind Cam, who's on, I think, more of a banker lap, and now onto an in lap right now. We've got a few other drivers still to set a lap. Yeah, we Bannister, who's just crossed the line as we speak, actually. He goes up to P5 then in that car. Next up, I believe, looking at the timings, we should have perhaps Lee Lamperin and all that, starting across the line. Let's go on board let's go on board with a few other drivers. It's got Cloudy Balloons on an out-lap, Tech currently on lap. We've got Jonas on a lap just behind as well. So it's going to be Tech currently on lap, unless it's an in-lap we're looking at right now. But I'm not quite sure, looking at the timing screen.
He is, Tech F1 Racing is on a time lap right now on the medium tyres, coming round the final corner now. Stepping out a bit, the medium tyres not having the grip that they demand. Going ahead of Neon though, that's going to be quite important. It's a medium battle.
And Jonas, meanwhile, he's currently in P7. Looking down the rest of the field, we've got Cloudy Balloons starting his out lap as well. Well, he's flying lap as well. Got a little bit of traffic right ahead of him of one of the Renaults. Then he's got a few others up the road in the distance. His teammate not too far up the road, but he should be held up by that because it's a sufficient enough distance right now. The Renault gets out of the way. Nice bit of slipstream there. Tech 31 getting well out of the way, of course, as good old Cloudy clouds past him then down there. And it's a purple Sector 1 on the game's telemetry right now. He's currently, of course, sitting himself down in P15. It was a green Sector 1 there at 29.9. For him, SD Master set a 30.0 as well through Speaker's Corner. A bit wayward on the rear end there, but he gets away with it right there as the camera decides to try and switch to someone else. There we go, down into P1. Chuck it left, downhill. Let the car run wide as he can without clipping those curves on the inside or the outside of her as he's going into that barrier. Through here, low into Fan. Yeah, nice move through right low. The car looks pretty smooth then for Cloudy Balloons. Let's see what the second split's going to be. A little bit wayward on the exit of that corner, like through here. Let's see the sector split then. So it's a 114. It's a green sector of 44.0. So not setting the world alight right now, but it looks like it could be a very decent result so far. You take these last couple of corners up then through Balancimod. Nice smooth through that. One car getting out of the way. I think that was a Kiki then on the inside. Through the bus stop, second gear, build the revs up on the exit, up to third again, a little bit sliding on the exit. Let's see what he can do though. Currently P15, well he's no longer P15, up 11 into P4.
A 142.359 from the Red Bull driver. It's certainly a strong time. It's not the fastest, but it is a strong time because, of course, Colin Mason being the quickest driver currently on track, and then Rich in P2 with a 42.274. Of course, the gap between Casper and Rich is very close, only 6 thousandths of a second between the driver in the W11 and the driver in the RP20. Of course, equal performance, but of course, it's kind of nice to say the car's name. But just having a look for people on a lap. Lamprin is on a lap. I'm trying to find who's the later one on the lap. That will be Lamprin, who is the later one in the lap, coming now down in sector 1. That is a purple, yes, very quick in a straight line. That AlphaTauri is, my voice is getting a bit, but anyway, we carried on down towards turn 8 now, throwing that AlphaTauri and hooking the apex beautifully, slightly on the entry, but getting a very wide exit, so early apex, late exit. But I would definitely go for more of a late apex around that corner. Going to hold 7th gear, going through P1 now. Some drivers going down to 6th, but I find 7th is more stable as the car, of course, being in a higher gear, isn't allowed to rotate as much into P1, which is you don't want it to over-rotate because you'll end up like Antonio Giovinazzi and in the wall. But now coming down to the exit that is a 43 middle, not the best of middle sectors at all for Lamprin. That's a 428, but the fastest sector is actually taken by Speed Risky, and it's the exact same as Lamprin. As Colin R. Mason now starts the lap, but Lamprin's going to come round the final corner now in the AlphaTauri. What can they do? Come around the final corner. DRS will be enabled almost instantly. ERS is there. P6 for the AlphaTauri driver, but then we have a look down the grid. Got
Rogue.
Apex Rogue.
Yeah,
Yes.
Rogue coming through the last corner then, and he's got invalidated right now, so we go then to the Ferrari driver slightly further down. Let's see what he can do. It's not a quickest sector time in Sector 2 then from the Ferrari driver. Teammate to Cam K, of course, crosses the line. He's currently P2 though, so although it wasn't the quickest, it was very close to the quickest. Currently Colin on provisional pole right now. We're still waiting for a few drivers to set their lap times. Waiting for Rogue, which is invalidated, and Gogs as well to set their respected lap times. The JM69 just goes up then on the pole position over 141.913, beating his fellow compatriot Lara of Colin, who's in the pit lane by some some 74 thousandths of a second right. That's incredibly close between the top two.
It really is, and we can see this heat up towards the end of this session, of course. I'd say the likes of JM, Colin are only going to get one more run left in this session, and Rich doesn't improve, but I would say that it's going to heat up between the top three, of course, being separated by a tenth of a second, basically. Well, just a little bit more between the top three, but it's going to go down to the wire, to say the least. I could see maybe JM69 pulling a bit of a bigger lead, but you just got to think about Casper, who's now coming through the final corner, in fact. Can Casper actually take it off of JM69? Has got the purple middle sector, so is it going to do it? Yes, it is, and even goes on the grass to end it off, and that is a 41.729, making it 2/10 between the top three.
Yeah, indeed, incredibly close between everyone. Casper, like championship leader, he's hoping he's going to get that one. I noticed, by the way, that Cam did set a purple sector 1 again, pretty much identical to what we've seen before of a 29.9. So it seems everyone likes that sector time right now. As a few people enter the pit lane then on their laps. We've got Rich, who's on a slowdown. Now let's see who's currently on a flyer right now. Looking through the timing screens, and we've got Tech, he's currently on a lap right now down the bottom of the circuit. He's invalidated it low right now, so that is the end of his lap time on the point. 17 drivers, of course, who are unfortunately missing 3 of them. With 5 minutes to go here in qualifying, it's looking so far so good then for your leader Casper. He's currently up there in P1 by just over 2.5 tenths of a second left from JM in second. Colin in third, Risky is fourth, Rich in fifth, who's coming into the pit lane right now in the Mercedes lane as we get ready for the final shootout then here in qualification here at Belgium.
Certainly, I really will say that it's going to heat up between the top three. I keep repeating, Casper, though he has that 2/10 lead, that most likely could come down by what? Even could be beaten by a 10, for example. JM might just get that perfect lap, or even Colin or Speed Risky. Any 4 of these drivers in the top 4 could improve in their final runs. I mean, Casper's the late one to the pit lane, so he's going to be probably the last one out, so might get impeded a bit by traffic, but who knows, because you don't want to go too early and you don't want to go too late, because if you go too early, when everybody finally floods out the pit lane, you will be stuck behind them. Or if you go too late, you'll be stuck in the queue waiting to start a lap time. So it's certainly something you don't want to time wrong. I'm just on board with Apex Rogue. That is a bit of certainly a carding technique, getting right up on the curb, maybe even a bit on the grass to pull yourself round, heading down towards Pooh. And I know they're not on a lap, but still it's just interesting to look at this track as we head round now on the exit. That's where Giovinazzi had his crash just back there, but coming through turn 12, 13. You want to stay on the curve for turn 13, but you don't want to get onto the AstroTurf, because the AstroTurf makes you get a bit too much of rotation and can screw you over. On the exit here of turn 15, saying you don't want to run too wide or too tight, because the curbs are very much like, you touch me, you're going round. Blanchemont don't want to touch the inside curb. Exit curb, you're okay with slightly touching, but it can cost you a bit of time.
Indeed, well, there we go. Then getting ready for his final real hot lap then. He's only going to have one shot at this. Had a rather scruffy qualifying so far as Rogue. Let's hopefully aim for probably a top 10 finish in this qualification session. We go then into turn number 1. Look pretty smooth right down the exit as we build up towards the famous El Rouge lane. Blink and you miss it, of course. It does go over a river. That is what it is named pretty much after, the Red River that runs around it. Up the top of Radion then, and then nice smooth then into the little kink down the Camel Straight. That's really been the curiosity of what his sector time's going to be. Looking at it, so it is going to be a purple sector at 29.8. So Rogue, hoping it's not going to be a Rogue first sector time for him then. Down here we come then. Now you're just doing the big descent now all the way down to the bottom of the hill on this circuit, all the way down here into Speaker's Corner. Nice through Brussels as well. No lockup as for C as we head down into Pouon. Let's see. Nice through here, doesn't need to be too wide. Nice and smooth through there, don't hit the inside curve, which of course isn't there in real life. As well, as big as it is, through Fanya. Chuck it right, chuck it left. Nice smooth through there. The rear end really working well with the Renault driver then. It's going to be crucial. He's been beaten in the first sector by someone else right now, but it's a green second sector of 43.8. Although it might say it's purple right now, it is most certainly not purple on that one. But nice through here again, low through the last couple of corners, through Blonsimon, and got a yellow flag for a few people getting out of the way. One of the Ferraris down the back right there. A bit of a lock up on the front right, but this should be good enough for, I think, about P5 or 6, if I'm not too mistaken, as long as he gets this done correctly. And, well, it's certainly better than P5 or 6, it's P2 right now on the road. Cannot beat Casper, the Mr. Ghosty Boy, then up front, who still leads this pack of cars with 1 minute to go in qualifying. But incredible results so far for him.
And here comes Colin R. Mason taking provisional pole off of Casper. Casper still on the out lap, which you have to wait for the likes of James 69, who is about to start the lap, but he's waiting for the likes of Speed, Risky, and I think that is Konkoffner to get out of the way so they can have a clear run on the track called Dirty Air, something you really don't want to run this track, especially in the middle sector.
Yeah, most certainly, that is going to be the big issue on this circuit. Meanwhile, Lamprey was, he said a purple sector 1, but it's a bit of a slow sector 2, so small issues right left for the AlphaTauri driver then. So let's see what he can do. Of course, he's going to be having to do a double run on those tyres, I imagine, for him. SD Matt's also setting a double green sector right now. He's just gone up to P6 in the sister car then, the other AlphaTauri right now, highest of the Red Bull drivers. Cloudy Balloons, meanwhile, just crosses the sector split right now, does improve on his lap time as well. So a few drivers starting to improve their laps. Looking at the order down the back, 3 drivers on those medium tyres did not improve.
Certainly, Casper coming down towards a Rouge. JM69, like I say, coming through P1 right now, looking a very clean lap from him. I will comment on the number in the gamer tag and the number on the car matching very sweetly, but that Haas looks to be on rails right now, a bit like the Renault for Apex Rogue did. The Haas is looking good. Going into episode 14 there was a bit iffy, but 2 tenths up for JM. He might be able to steal this off Colin. He might, because that was a purple sector 1, Apex Rogue retiring in the pit lane. Cannot get another run done now because qualifying is officially checkered flagged. And the drivers have only got 2 minutes and, 18 seconds left to set a lap time. But now James 69 coming through the final corner at the bus stop chicane, hugging the curves perfectly, holding second, get them revving it out. Duress to the line now. That is pulled back off of Colin with a 41.5. But Casper is the next driver we need to watch out for. Same with Cloudy Balloons. Could Cloudy Balloons improve to a good time? It was P6 for the driver in the Red Bull.
Casper's invalidated. Casper has just invalidated his lap time then, so he cannot get pole. It was a green sector 1, a purple sector 2, but he's gone a little bit too wide there, so he's done that one good. Let's see if he does finish the lap off, what it would be if he does do so. It can give us a little bit of an indication of his true potential pace. Through the last corner he comes then, so he needs to be a 141.5. What would he have got though? It would have been a 141.7, so he might have backed off a little bit, but it would have been awfully close between him and Colin. But, of course, without a shadow of a doubt, pole position going to JM69 then in the Haas. Then with a beautiful lap time of 141.5, beating Colin then on a 141.6 by 1.24 seconds. Third then for Casper in P3, and then a gap back down to Rogue in 4th, Neon in 5th, Cloudy in 6th. Rich in 7th, Speed in 8th, Cam again in that mid-pack in 9th position right there. Tech in 10th, SD Matt 11th, Konkoffner in 12th, Lamprey in 13th, Bannister in 14th, Jonas 15th, Akeke off the back row finally in 16th, and Gogs on the back row with Akeke in 17th, who of course did not set a lap time, we believe, potentially had either an issue or potentially a qualifying ban, though I didn't see anything on the thing, unless I'm very much mistaken.
Let me just have a quick look.
Of course, like, getting ready to go for what's going to be the race, of course, and it's going to be the more important thing, this race situation. Turn 1, of course, known to be one of the more easiest places. If you're going to make a mistake, it'll be down at turn 1. Opportunities down into turn 18, 19. Of course, the bus stop chicane. And always look out, of course, for our Origin Radion, especially on those Warner tyres later on in this race. That could be extremely interesting indeed. But, of course, Brent, what are your predictions for the top 3?
Top 3, we could see a very tight race. I'd say that Casper might have the long run pace advantage over the likes of Colin and James 69, but then James 69, if they can keep up what they did in qualifying, there's no shadow of doubt that they could waltz away from the likes of Colin Casper, and we could even see Colin and Casper maybe have a battle and lose time. I mean, one of the worst things that we could see happening is having of course, different teams, of course, a Hamilton-Rosberg moment where they come in together. No. That could be the worst thing.
Yeah, I'm just saying, by the way, that Speed Rescue readied up before the thing. It was a mistake, of course, so he's on a new wheel. So hopefully that isn't a penalty, but I fear it might be, which would be a shame, but we can find out, of course, later on. And don't forget to keep up all to date on the official One Hub Twitter account. Don't forget, if you like what you see here, don't forget to like and subscribe as well. Hit the notification bell to be kept up to date with all the races. And don't forget also to follow our Twitch as well at One Hub Racing as well. Of course, where we'll be streaming some of the races as well. Do keep up to date with all of that and everything else as well. Of course, you feel free to sign up to our forums as well. Link will be somewhere. I think it's in the description. Don't quote me if it's not. I'm not quite sure. If it isn't, then we probably should get it on there. And also follow our Discord. That's definitely on the thing. Follow our Discord. Good idea. But let's get into racing, of course, and not me promoting our thing, as we're currently getting near 600 subscribers. JM69, currently, as my voice cracks in half, currently top of the sheet right now. He's going to be starting this race on pole position from Colin and Casper. These 3 drivers are the real standouts so far. It's Casper in the championship, JM in 2nd, Cloudy Balloon's in 3rd, he's a little bit further down the field, and it's Colin in 4th. So really, you've got your main top kind of group in the standings, all in a nice line. However, this week it is JM, and then Colin, then Casper, so pretty much almost in reverse order, give or take, of the championship standings right now. Casper lead the championship by 17 points, and then a further 5 back to, of course, Cloudy, and then another 2 back to Colin. 24 points off of the top of the standings, so he's going to really have to hope for some miracles today if he wants to start closing in for the second half of the season. Remember, he did say he wanted to be in the top 3. Well, right now, he's most certainly in the top 4.
Certainly, as now the cars are lining up on the grid to get ready to start this race. Gog's now coming around the final corner. This grid is very compact, unlike some other races I've seen where the drivers have split quite far apart from each other to give colder tyres to the leading drivers. But maybe it's just the thing that you don't want to give the drivers colder tyres, or maybe they've actually realised that when sat on the grid, you don't really lose tyre temps properly.
Right, here we go then. Getting ready here at Spa. 1, 2, 3, 4. When the 5th goes off, we're underway then for round 4 here in Belgium. And it's most certainly lights out. Away we go. It's then the top 2 running away down towards turn number 1. Bit of a bad start for the Williams there on the inside. Looks like coming one of the Force Indias then. That must be of Casper then, as the timing screen has an absolute mare on my screen as you head themselves down into Radion then. The 2 title protagonists running side by side up the hill then, and it is currently then Casper ahead of Colin there, down as we come into the first real area of the braking zone. This is where we're seeing overtakes always going to happen. Colin then switching to the inside then in the Williams, can't quite do that. The 2 Ferraris getting involved in a bit of contact there in the background as well. Looked like they all got away with that one. Tech up a few positions there. Cam down into 9th position right there. So the 2 Ferraris a little bit switching and swapping around nearly at the start of this race. Doesn't look like any drama though in terms of damage. So it looks like ST Max has got a little bit of damage, and Ritz may also have a bit of damage as well. But good start then from JM. A good start right now for the top three as they all themselves continue their line of stern from the start.
So yeah, we'll say that little battle between Casper and Colin Mason going in. Oh my gosh! So we're into the corner, into sector 2. Did cost a bit of time between Colin and JM. Of course, the gap being 9/10 now. Was quite close off the start, but of course it did bring it down. But look, Casper is getting to the back of Colin. Colin has used quite a bit of ERS straight off the bat. As yep, there we go, loads in. 40% is still a lot at the end of the day, but then it seems to be quite a similar pattern for most of the drivers.
I mean, well, SD Matt's coming into the pit lane. We believe that is probably for the damage he got earlier on lap 1. Indeed, it is. Also, the pit lane Rich as well. So both of them going for new noses right now. Now, as we get ready for the beautiful timing screens to do their usual job for us and prove our lovely timings. Right now, we'll just wait a few seconds for that to reset itself. Meanwhile, down the back of the field, Akike currently down in 17th position. He's dropped off the back of the top guys again. There is, looks like, the inside one of the... that'll be Lamprin up the inside then of Jonas, who's having a shocking start of this race right now. Down 1 or 2 positions. Real gains of this race is going to be, I think... I did see one driver was up 5 positions. We'll wait for the telemetry to give us no, because you got a car off into the wall. Was that Konkofner? It is Konkofner gone off. So he's gone around.
Can I just quickly move on to comment about something I said before qualifying? The drivers that usually predict, oh yes, I'm going to get points, or I'm going to get such and such amount of points, or a win. They're usually in the wall by lap 2, 3. Well, let's say that Konkofner's lived up to kind of what I've said, except he didn't go in the wall.
Well, never say never, my dear Padawan, of course. We've all got a long race, of course. Let's see what they can do. It's still an opportunity for them to come back, of course. Mentality is always going to be one thing. Getting that morale up is another thing. Let's hope he can do it, of course. We want to see a good result for him, so let's see what he can do. Currently, though, second and third getting close together. JM currently the fastest man on this circuit. Casper and Colin getting closer together as well as up the inside there. Looks like we've got the Ferrari down into turn number 1 then on the Renault. He's got that one done on the exit though. Let's see. The Renault with a bit more power on the exit should be able to come back through. Indeed he does then. So the Ferrari's going to have to do all that work back again. But let's go to P2 and 3 because here comes the Racing Point. Blasts past the Williams. It's almost like taking caddy from a baby down the straight there as Casper now up into P2.
Taking a very easy DRS overtake on Colin, and well, this gives Casper the more of the clean air, and Colin's going to have to deal with the dirty air coming off of that Racing Point. But of course now we've got Neon behind. This is what Casper wants. Casper's going to want Neon to catch up to the back of Colin and pressurise him, because currently right now it's a 2v1 in his team battle. And then you got Speed Risky behind Jonas with the 3-second time penalty already on lap 3. That, if you think about that, that's about a warning a lap. But now Tech 31 Racing also up a couple of positions off the start. So the main gainers are Jonas and Bannister. Jonas having 1 penalty already, which I'm just going to say is quite easy to invalidate, but I find it hard in the race to get them warnings. But look at this now, Colin is out of DRS of Casper, and well, this is... seems like Colin's pace has dropped off. Colin's got little left available to use. Apex Rogue is catching back speed, risky a bit. Cloudy Balloons not far behind. But Tech 31 Racing has got Casper right behind. What is Casper going to do going into the bus stop chicane? Is he going to send it on the brakes? Yes, he is. But what will Tech do to fight it off? Tech's going to hold the inside line for the second part of the bus stop chicane, but Cam's going to have the cutback coming towards turn 1 now, not having DRS. Oh, Tech does have DRS, but will he go under the brakes? Yes, Tech certainly loves sending it under the brakes. Then going down towards Eau Rouge now, so that seems Tech's gonna not have... no, he might just have DRS. I'd say he was just out when the detection line was there, but we'll see in a second when we get to the top of the hill. No, he does get DRS from the car heads. That could be a little saviour for Tech against Cam now. They're going to be pretty matched on pace. Tech trying to cover off a bit, weaving a bit there down the straight. But now, will Cam going to send it on the brakes? Cam is, but Tech's leaving in the space a bit. Contact between the two. Lamprin's getting past Jonas Bricked back at the inside the point. Sorry, I thought that a little bit wrong there, but Cloudy Balloons is also at the back of them guys. But the battle between Cam and Tech has slightly chilled down.
Yeah, the battle subsiding right now. Up front, by the way, the battle continuing to close as Casper now starts to reel in his rival then of JM69. These two getting closer and closer right now. You definitely could tell that Casper has the bit between his teeth. On board we go then with the former car that used to be a Jordan back in the day. Then became a Spiker, a Midlands. It became a beautiful Force India for a few years. Became a Racing Point. Now it's an Aston Martin, but in this game it's still a Racing Point. Right now as Gogs also gets himself a penalty down the back there in P14. A few drivers getting the penalties earlier on, of course. Easy to do. We expect to see a few penalties later on in this race. Still, it will catch up with the drivers no matter what is a difficult circuit, as JM comes into the pits on lap number 4. An early stop then for him, so he's going and presumably trying a very audacious undercut strategy. A few other drivers coming in the pits as well. Cam in the pits. We've got a few others in the pit lane then already, so the tyre wear must be a little bit higher than we are expecting then right now.
It certainly must be, because for the drivers to pit this early on in the race, I know it's a mandatory 2-stop, but there's no point, because you might as well spend more time on the softs than you can on the mediums, because you're just going to lose time at this rate. Apex Road is flying down the straight now against the Ferrari, and well, DRS pass seems pretty easy, but Apex Road and Speed Risky get a bit of contact. Here we go, he's going to send it now. That was, they're keeping it side by side. Fair play. Going down towards turn 8 now. Backs out of it, Apex Rogue does, but gets a better switchback manoeuvre on Speed Risky. But Speed Risky's going to hold the inside line for no name. Apex Rogue gets a bit of a twitch on exit. Same with the Risky, but they're going to go side by side down into Blanchemont, to Puon, and just lets the move to Speed Risky.
Yeah, Risky a little bit wide on the exit of the corner, so there's always going to be bits to play for. Cloudy Balloons just sitting behind as well. These 3-4 drivers all starting to close up each other as well, because you've got the rest of the field getting more and more close as these guys battle. Though surely we've got to start seeing some drivers coming to the pit lane in just a few moments' time. Risky now starting to open that gap. He's got a car off. And it's a Keke again off the road, then he damaged the car this time around. I don't believe so this time. Doesn't look like he's got damage. No. So a small mistake for him, and a KK again having a bad afternoon. Gets good starts, gets these things, and then has those small little ifsty mistakes later on in the race. As now we've got a few other people in the pit lane. Speed, Rogue, Jonas, we're all going to start coming in soon. And these guys, all they're doing right now is going to be covering off the race, well, the rest of the field as well, down the likes of Cam and all that. So let's see what these guys can do down the back, the likes of Tech and all that. I think they should jump a few of them, to be fair, actually.
The undercut could be quite powerful around this track, but can Tech get the undercut to work properly up into P9? They were P8 before they pit. They're going to jump any drivers? Yes, they are. They're going to jump Cam and Apex Rogue and Speed Risky. So that is a very good undercut from Tech 31 Racing, but now he's got the pressure of his teammate on him, and this got to be an easy let by for Tech, and it is. But will he defend to help out his teammate? He does defend off Cam. But looking out the front, Cody Balloon and Casper yet to pit still. Maybe they managed to handle that tyre wear, and they have, to be honest. They have 50% tyre wear, so they're not looking too bad, to be brutally honest. But the gap is certainly increasing between the two when it comes to going through the corners, because Casper's just carrying so much more speed. Casper is struggling though for understeer, it seems. Maybe Casper's timed this wrong. Maybe I predicted wrong about the tyre wear.
Well, I can say one thing most certainly right now. We've got a banger of the race as Akike has just been overtaken now by Neon. So it looks like he's starting to drop back right now in that car. It's a real shame to see Akike struggling. We've still got a long race though. We've got another, what, 15, 14 laps to go. So let's hope we get some points in this afternoon. That would be a real nice feel-good moment for him. Let's see, of course, anything's happening. Meanwhile, Casper just sets a purple lap time as then he comes with the pit lane exactly when it says he's gone purple. So Thank you very much, my good old friend there. Right now, a set of medium tyres then on for the Racing Point. He's got himself at a... there's a bit of a telemetry glitch then, a bit of a glitch on my screen there. He's just held in the pit lane. He's back out right now. It's going to be awfully close, slow, potentially with Colin, but he's still got ahead reasonably good there, about a second and a half. Right now, between those two drivers, the full battle low right now down between 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th. We've got the two Renaults and the two Ferraris getting closer together, and let's see what they can do here. Is now Tech says, you know what, I fancy this position back, my dear friend Rogue. Let's see, DRS activated. Rich Mix overtake, going to the inside, then down the inside of his teammate, then late braking manoeuvre. His teammate does not put up a fight too much there. He doesn't want to end up colliding with his teammate. Then he has a sniff down the inside, though, on the exit of the corner. The Renault's having to ignore what I say and go for it nonetheless, though. But in the end, can't quite do it. Knows where he needs to place the car. Knows exactly what he needs to do. Does not need to end up getting himself in and into them right now, because behind them are the two Ferraris just sitting there, just looking, just waiting, sniffing, tasting potential glory, tasting potentially a top 8 or 7 position in this race right now. That's what they're after.
They really are at this point, but Casper still a second ahead of Colin R. Mason. Colin brought that gap a little bit down a bit. Tech 31 Racing with another penalty to add to their sorrows at this point. 6 seconds and we're 7 laps in. Not looking good penalty-wise. Tech 31 Racing, but now Cloudy Balloons is finally into the pit lane on the soft tyres. What sort of stop will it be from Red Bull? Of course, they're known for the very quick pit stops. Let's have a quick look at this. Checker tyres, a very good stop for the F1 Game standard, and let out very quickly.
Yeah, Phoebe were coming in the pit lane. I'm continuing to look at this battle right now between this gaggle of cars. JM has rejoined in the lead. In fact, it's opened that lead up a little bit on Casper.
Apex Rogue. He's got damage. Sorry to butt in there, but he's got damage. He turned in too early into turn 1 and clattered the wall.
And let's see then up towards this corner. Rogue's going to have issues then. Here comes the two Ferraris then. Swooping left, swooping right up the road. Meanwhile, we've got the Red Bull then of Cloudy Balloons getting past the Renault. We've got the Ferrari getting past the other Renault. Let's see if we can do it down in the braking zones then. Let's see, up the inside he goes. Easy manoeuvre in the end then. Because of the damage that Rogue has got. Cam is sitting back there as rescuer. My apologies, lad. He was just getting past the Renault. Not it was Cam who's now getting defending against the AlphaTauri then of Lamprin, currently down in that position. In terms of the stops, well, everyone has done their first stop apart from Jonas right now. They're all, of course, on medium tyres apart from Gogs. As well, in terms of penalties, you've got 6 seconds for Tech 31 and 3 for Gogs, OKK and Jonas, as well as Cam K starts to get himself on. There is someone else immediately gets himself a penalty of Rogue as well, so never mind. As I say, only 3 have got 3 seconds. Well, now there's 4.
Yeah, the penalties are starting to fly in finally for the drivers.
Cam laying up the inside into Radion. That should be an easy move there. I don't see good old... he's not going to put up too much of a fight there. He's sticking with him, though, on the inside then. And Cam's going to really have to not be too aggressive here, because he knows that Rogue's going to come into the pit right now. Is he staying out?
He's staying out, which is certainly an odd decision. But I'm just going to note, in the pit stops, James69 has undercut Casper beautifully.
Yeah, he's opened that gap up a little bit more than earlier on, of course. So that gap remaining around about a second and a half right now is now on board. The Renault is going to have a big issue because now he's got another 2 cars coming at him. But up the road, though, a bit of a gap started forming, a little bit of a tyre moment then. Right now, as we start coming to this stage of the race, where not a lot of action going on right now, is now Speed Rescue starting to close up on Tech. So these two starting to close together as Apex Rogue, another time penalty. He's starting to wonder, potentially right now, should he come in and get that new nose? Definitely get some different tyres. But remember, though, he doesn't want to go in too early because he's got those tyres on right now, unless he's going to go on another set of mediums to the end of the race. So they should be able to do easily in the next 12 laps. But the question is, though, is it more time than it is going to be gained coming in the pits? Well, certainly right now it would seem so, as he now goes wide and lets Lamprin through on the inside. So going backwards right now is the Renault driver. going forwards right now is Lamprey as he starts to come through the field ever so slightly. Big winners so far in this race. By the way, is Gogs up 4th position. We've got also Lamprey and Tech both up 3. The real loser in this race so far is Apex Rogue down 7, down 9 as well for Rich from earlier on. And we're still waiting Jonas to come in the pit lane. That is why he still leads this race.
Yeah, Jonas most likely will be pitting in. I'd say could be this lap, go 6 laps, then go 6 laps on the soft. So double soft strategy towards the end of this race will be likely for Jonas, of course, because I don't think that you're going to go on to another set of mediums. If you go on to another set of mediums, you're not the cleverest of people, I would say.
Well, never say that, to be fair, my friend. It might not be the most ideal strategy, but it's certainly still opportunistic, especially because the tyre wear could be quite high around here. As Risky looking at the inside, he's looking to the outside, left or right, my friend. Well, he's going to the inside then. Down the inside, he's made contact, let the Ferrari round right to the middle of the field, and he's going to be stuck, sitting there stranded. Left to right, it didn't work. Down the inside he went. That was a day late and very much $1 short. Round he went, and that is all she wrote. There down then into 14th position. That was a little bit of an opportunistic move. It did not pay off at all.
It really didn't, of course. Ferrari driver really trying to take every single opportunity he could. Well, yeah, just teach you. Sometimes maybe you don't need to send it straight away. Maybe just sit behind the driver for a few laps, analyse what they're doing, then send it. Or maybe just wait for a better opportunity when you are closer. But you never know. You do want to get past and not be held up as much.
Yeah, he tried it. It didn't work, of course. Though Tech did move a little bit left to right. He did kind of give him a cold shoulder there. And, of course, Speed Risky tried to go down the inside. Maybe there should have been a bit more circumstance about trying to pass him there. But nonetheless, round he went. And that was all she wrote. In terms of intervals, by the way, as someone asking in the chat there, you go for the nice interviews of all the drivers. Right now, in terms of the leader gaps, we've got Tech currently 12 seconds off the pace, but a little bit of action going on. Estimat's starting to close up a little bit right now on Konkofner down in the back of this group. So let's see what those two can do. It could be quite interesting. So, Estimat, of course, he's wanting to get past Konkofner, the McLaren versus the AlphaTauri. That's kind of a bit of a battle right now between those two. That is, I think, the closest on the time screen. We've got Rich and Speed Risky also on their battle down the field.
Certainly, Rich is catching a little bit. Of course, DRS is going to help that. Estimat's only 7 tenths behind. Konkofner, Gog's now a second between him. Bannister's 2.6 off of that, trying to look up the front. James 69 really starting to catch Jonas. Maybe it's time for Jonas to bring that Red Bull in and get some fresh tyres, because we don't want another Sergio Perez moment, because you'll be leading the Grand Prix going so good, but you drop down to 4th places, which you don't want. So maybe it's time to bring it in soon, because you're going to lose a lot of time when it comes to coming into the pit lane. I could see him dropping down to maybe P12 possibly.
Yeah, he'll come in this lap, I think. So he's going to. So it looks like it'll be a double set of super soft tyres. Indeed, he does come in the pit on this lap. So he's going to be setting a set of softs and then another set of softs right at the end then. So he's going for the super aggressive strategy. It might work, though. He's also gambling on a safety car later on in this race as well. So there you can see the Red Bull tyres going on. As now he exits the pit lane. There, a little bit of a lag spike as well for good measure. Right there, but nice and smooth through there right now. Lamprey up into 8th position. Cam currently in 7th. We've got Tech in 6th. The top 5 though being JM, Casper, Colin, Neon and Cloudy Balloons right now in this race.
And the drivers, really, bit of a gap between them, because Colin Armacent nearly 1.7 seconds behind Casper. Casper 2.5 behind JM. Neon another 4.2 behind Colin. Then Cloudy Balloons right behind that. Maybe if Cloudy Balloons can get past Neon, the gap could be brought down. But Bannister is also right close to back of Gogs now, struggling on the medium tyres. SD Matt's right close to back of Konkofner. But penalty situations, Tech, 6 seconds still. Lamprin, 3 seconds. Jonas, 3 seconds. Gogs, 3 seconds. Kogofner, 3 seconds. Speed Rescue, 3 seconds. Keke, 6. And Rogue, 6. Rogue, it's been a good race apart from some poor incidents that happen, but these things do happen. You can't blame yourself because, yeah, you did drive into the wall, but you just, with driving, you've got to try different things, and sometimes you don't work out because, of course, you're going to try and get that best advantage, so braking later, turning in earlier, or later into the corner, and obviously Apex Rogue turning in earlier, didn't work out.
I'll tell you what might be working out right now is the battle for 8th and 9th right now is Jonas starting to close right up on Lamprin, and I only see it as a matter of moment. It's not a matter of when or if, it's a matter of now and Len, because surely right now Jonas is going to have a dive up the inside into turn 1. It might be a little bit too far back right now though, to be fair, but you've got a massive straight coming up the road then down towards Lacombe. You can just see though the Red Bull driver wanting to get past the AlphaTauri as soon as possible, trying to just stay to the left, stay to the right. Not the top of the hill then, and it should be a nice switcheroo then to the left side of the circuit. And a nice smooth through there as the Apex Rogue sets the fastest lap of the race then. 1:45 on a set of medium tyres. As Jonas then up into 8th position. Next up the road will be Cam and then on to Tech. Remember, everyone's still to make their last stop in this race.
Certainly only one driver that has actually done the last stop, and like you say, that is Rogue on the medium tyres right now, so see them pitting soon. I'd say JM, see him pitting in the next 2 laps, because they might do the undercut again, but they might not like the soft tyres enough to do that.
Yeah, most certainly then. So 5 tenths between Neon and Cloudy Balloons. Cloudy Balloons has got ahead of Neon in the last few laps. Also, we've been looking down at the back of the field at the rest of the battles going on in the field as Lamprin has just been overtaken by Gogs. We've got a yellow flag. Is that, who's that? Speed Risky in the wall. Yeah, Speed Risky. So he's dropped there in the safety car.
This is gonna, oh my, this is playing into Colin's hands.
Yeah, Colin in the pit lane, Cloudy Balloons in the pit lane. Everyone's going to come in the pit lane right now. JM and Casper might as well be just very scared. Low, they're going to get away with it, Low, because look, the safety car has only just rejoined now. It's just come out the pit lane now, so this is still going to work out in their favour. Because, of course, remember, everyone's going to be in this pit lane delta right now, so everyone may have just stopped right now, but it's not going to mean a lot right now. Casper and JM should still be able to regain their positions at the front of this field.
Certainly, but it's just it's just typical at this point when safety car comes out, when you're coming through the final corner and just past the pit lane. It's something that always happens. It's just, you're like, oh, come on, safety car at some point. And then it happens as you pass the pit lane.
Most certainly. A very odd mistake there from Speed Risky. I'd love to know what exactly happened there. So, let's see.
Just a note. Sorry, I'm just going to put in here. Just to note, both Red Bulls and Bannister and Kogofner choosing mediums over the softs. Choosing medium over the soft is certainly interesting, considering the fact of everybody else is on the soft tyres.
Indeed, most certainly. Also, I try and get a note from Risky exactly of what happened to him then. That'd be nice to see. I'm presuming he's on the curb on the exit of Fania and he's dropped it down there. So that's probably he always fell on the curb then. So, yeah, so exactly what I thought could be a case then. So, on the curb, dropped it there because of the curbs, of course. That's a shame, of course. Nothing you can do about that. That's just the luck of the racing god. So, right out here, just where Tack just lost the rear end just there on the safety car. Nearly, as in comes JM and Casper. So it's going to be quite crucial then to see of where they're going to come out in the grand scheme of things. So JM and Casper, they should be ahead of Colin, though it's going to be awfully close. Depends on their thing. They're both going on a set of soft tyres. In fact, they're going to be way ahead of them, actually, because the time delta is going to be a lot less than you think, because the safety car now gets himself started up front, and we'll pick the field up.
Yep, JM69 leading away behind the AMG GTR, driven by Bernd Mailander at the limits, where these F1 cars are just, they're basically idle compared to the AMG, which is at max pace.
Most certainly are. So a nice bit of breath there, a nice bit of time between everyone. Everyone has done their second stop. So, in terms of tyres, we've got the top 3 on softs. We've got Cloudy on mediums. The next 3 behind on softs. Then we've got Jonas on mediums. Then the next 2 on softs. Then medium for Bannister and Rogue. Soft for SD, medium for Konkofner. And the last 2 on soft tyres. So it's going to be quite curious in terms of strategy. So Cloudy Balloon's really on a more alternating strategy right now. In terms of position, by the way, as I try and figure out what is it. Let's see, position change. There we go. Real winner in this race so far has to be the likes of Jonas and Gogs right now, both up 7th and 8th respectively. So, we still got a little bit of time to go in this race. Safety car is out right now after a nasty incident involving Speed Risky just a few moments ago. Remember, if you're new here, don't forget to like and subscribe as well down below to keep up to date for all the other races later on this evening. We've still got another 1 or 2 to go. I believe one might also be live as we speak, if I'm not too mistaken.
No, you're not. There is currently going all right now, precision tier, and in 15 minutes. Been a good.
Most certainly. Well, let's get ready to go in just a few minutes' time. Safety car should be in. Well, it's in this lap, is actually the fact then. So, I say it should be in next lap, but no, it's in this lap. So, never mind then, as I completely missed the giant probable thing that said safety car in this lap. But, well, it's in this lap. So, let's all go ahead and pretend nothing happened. So, intervals all going to be nice and close together. And JM69's got a chance of closing that gap up then to the championship leader, Casper, on hot pursuit. Let's see what happens then as we get ready to go then for this safety car restart. A bit of a wiggle then for Casper as he gets to exit the corner. Good start though from JM69, Bren.
It was a very clean restart and managed to time it very well. Casper, I think, was on edge there and did know when it was coming. Although I think they just got a bit too eager on the loud pedal and didn't think it would work out right. Both drivers burning up ERS now going up the hill, trying to gain momentum.
Yeah, here we go then, up the top of the hill then. Left, right. Is he going to go left? He is going to go left. Can he get enough speed there down into the com? Here's the crucial question. Yes, he can go the enough speed into the com. Round the outside, has he done it? Yes, he has. So, Kasperlen into the lead then of the Belgium Grand Prix then lap 16 of 22. What a stonking move then for the championship leader. And that's certainly putting the stamp on the authority right there as he dominates and absolutely, well, you could say what you like about that one. JM has been absolutely done and dusted right there, but the question is, can he retaliate on the next lap?
He could possibly, but the ERS is a lot lower for JM than it is for Casper. SD Mats with a 3-second time penalty if you add it on to the end of the race now. I mean, it's hard to say at this point. We've got, 6 laps left to go. Gogs with a 3-second time penalty. It could all go down to the wire.
Most certainly it could indeed. A few drivers making bad mistakes, but down the back we got Apex Rogue under pressure then from SD Match, who's under pressure from Konkofner, he's under pressure from Rich and Akeke just down the back as well. So those guys all getting awfully close right now as SD Match trying to look on the inside. There you can see these guys getting all sorts of trouble right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Look at this. It's like a little rodeo down the back of this field right now as they're all bumping into each other ever so slightly. None of them trying to do it deliberately, of course. It's just a little concertina figure right now. Look at these guys going at it right now. But up front, Casper is already starting to check out the front of this race from JM69. Colin in third, Claudia in fourth. Neon in 5th, Tech in 6th, Cam down in 7th, ahead of Jonas in 8th. But what an amazing move there from Casper. Certainly one of the moves of this afternoon. It was brave, it was audacious, and it was brilliant.
It was an amazing overtake, to say the least, but it's the fact of, yeah, he can overtake him. That doesn't mean he can pull away, but he has pulled away slightly. But who knows, JM might be a bit more cautious on them tyres towards the end of the race, and then final 2 laps, you might see it hit Casper more than it hit JM with the tyre wear. But I'm just going to have a quick look at the driver's tyre wear conditions. And I predicted semi wrong. It's actually slightly higher on JM, the tyre wear, than it is on Casper. So, just maybe not listen to me in the future when it comes to guesses.
Most certainly, always an issue, always prediction. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong here in the revolving box of comms. Like I tell you right now, though, the battle for what would be the silver spoon in 11th, of course, the points low going downwards a little further like that in this league. It's getting very spicy right now between Bannister, Rogue and SC Mats. These guys, they might be jumping off the back of everyone who's running on these soft tyres, but boy howdy are those guys having a battle down the back as we look through the rest of this field of cars. And it's JM69 still now trying to keep up and slightly closing, might I say, on Casper. So with DRS activated on this lap, he's not going to close enough length to try Alonso on the inside or outside into the com. But he definitely can start putting on the pressure. Just needs to stick with him here and get as close as he can. As you've got a bit of cars battling further down the field. Looks like Gogs battling away with Apex, Roegland. These are the battles then for the minor places of 11th, 12th, 13th and that. As the two McLarens now starting to battle between the pair of them. Konkofner and Bannister. And Konkofner climbing up the inside of the Bannister. Bannister goes a little bit deep right there. And now let's see, is he going to be side by side between the two teammates? Indeed it is. But remaining as they are. Now on the inside, though, down into Puon. Inside line. Should be an easy move then, the two teammates running side by side through Puon. And look at this, they're still going at it then, side by side through the exit, down into Fania, and still can't get past. And this is great battling.
That is great battling, but all I'm going to say is the likes of Andreas Seidel and Zach Brown will be pulling their hair out right now and being like, what are you doing? Just get going. But it's something we love seeing because it's action. It's something we could commentate over, but James69 is catching to the back of Casper.
Indeed, and thank you to in the chat below pointing out that Colin has picked up a 3-second penalty. And that could be indeed detrimental later on in this race as we scroll up through the field then nice and smoothly, and it is up to first and second position right now here on that 19 of 22 as here comes JM69. Well, he needs to do this, it needs to be perfect, left, right, it doesn't matter, he needs to try and get past as soon as possible. DRS, KERS, ERS, Slipstream, it's not enough right now. Casper still holds the line. No ERS, of course, for him. A little bit more then for Casper right now as these two titans of Podium go at it. Hammer and Tong right now, the championship leader, battling with who the guys could be challenging him later on in this season still. But the Riley Old Fox of Casper still leads from JM. Colin in third, Claudia in fourth, but there could be problems there for Colin with a 3-second time penalty. A KK, meanwhile, a 3-second time penalty puts him up to 9.
Yeah, as Cam, I will say at this point, Cam doesn't really, apart from the likes of Neon and Cloudy Balloons who are ahead, the only person he doesn't need to worry about getting past Tech because it's a free position because of his penalties. It's just going to be a matter of sit behind, don't worry.
Yeah, most certainly, of course, lap 19 of 22 right now. The championship battle may be how spicy up the front still, though. It might be quite wide, but you never know what these positions. If he can get past JM, we could see a recovery later on this season. But look how close he is right now. Again, on we go. The gap of what is going to be some 3/10 of a second between first and second. Let's see, exit of this loop. Doesn't need to be using all of his ERS right now. Indeed he is. Save a bit right now. 22 versus 16. Right up his jump. Look at this. This is the best opportunity he's going to get all race then. Left, he's going to be forced the long way around then. Let's see. Into the slipstream. Forced the long way around then. Let's see. Can he do it then? 2 of 2 then. Last time was the outside for Casper. This time it's the outside. And through into the lead yet again for JM as these two battle their way. Hammer and Tong here in Belgium. And look behind as Colin now starting to close up on the pair of them. With that 3-second time penalty, he wants to get past. Potentially as well, but what a titanic battle. And we've got a car off. That might be the Apex Road. Yeah, off into the gravel then. He's in the wall actually as well down there at the bottom of the circuit. There he is, the yellow and black Banana Boy car. Back on the circuit. A bit of tyres squealing there as well. Not quite sure what has happened to poor old Rogie Boy then. So, the banana might have been peeled there down the order. Though right now up front, JM in the halves. Looking confident. Now he needs to try and pull this gap ahead of Casper yet again as these two continue to battle the top 3. Cloudy Balloons, meanwhile, trying to close up to Neon behind. Tech as well with Kamke in 7th position. But we have now got a battle on our hands, haven't we?
We really have. The final 2 hours of the race. JM getting a bit of a snap of oversteer on the exit of the kills. Casper's going to want to save some ERS. JM's using up all their ERS. Coming down into turn 1, saving a bit more, but both drivers going to want to be pushing at this point. James using the ERS, Casper not so much. Casper not using it, now using it though, coming up the hill, Radion. Going to be DRS open soon for the Kemmel Straight. James already out of battery life. Coming down the straight now. Can Casper make this work? Here we go. He's gaining. Coming down the straight. Can he go for the inside line? He's going to go for it. And that's going to be a close battle between the two again, but not enough.
Indeed, we've got yellow flags. One driver retiring from the session. Rogue out of this race. But JM and Casper battling as heavy as you can be right now here in Belgium. And it might not be over yet. They'll have one more lap. One more chance to go after this one. It's going to be the battle of the ages right now. Could it be JM? Could it be Casper? Could it be Colin? We'll find out, of course, when we start the last lap in just a few moments' time. This could go down to the wire. It's hammer and tong right now between the top 3 positions. The top 4 in the championship. Cloudy Balloons, meanwhile, still stuck behind Neon as well. We have another chance of it, another DRS battle. And poor Rogue, like I said, out of this race. It could not have happened to a nicer guy right now. Poor Rogue, out of it. Down the back, he's out of the race. Rich Bouncer Kiki, by the way, good to see he's up in 13th position. He's having a good race so far. But here we go then. One more chance of the feather. One more chance of ultimate glory. Who's it going to be? It's hammer time right now for Casper. It's hammer time for JM. It's most certainly just Colin sitting back and hoping all these guys end up making a mistake. It's all going to be about this exit. It's all going to be about the slipstream. JM may have himself a bit of a gap right now. We know how strong the slipstream is though up the top of the hill. Especially how little he's got in terms of the ERS. And look, here we go then. Is he close enough this time around? Let's see, he's closing, it's not going to be close enough, he'll have to do a dive, and he's going for it, down the hill, can he do it? Yes he can, and back into the lead goes Casper, and JM demoted back down into second. What a move then for Casper into the lead on the final lap here in Belgium. What stonking stuff we've got here, and it's a battle between tooth and nail. It's the titans of the season going at it. And JM and Casper yet again going for glory. A yellow flag there. We got a McLaren or Bannister out of the race. That's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things, though. Let's see. Can JM do anything right now in the last couple of corners? Can he do anything in this last sector? It's going to be all about, it's going to be about a dive in the last corner. He needs to stay with him, but he goes a little bit wide. That might be all it won't. Then, through we come then. Slipstream, he's got as much as he can. He's not got enough, though. Let's see then. Through the last couple of corners, I don't think he's going to be a dive and a half from here far back. Casper taken the lead on the last lap of this race. A surprising, a beautiful, an absolutely stunning move into the corn. And Casper through the last corner. He'll win the Belgian Grand Prix then from JM in second. Colin will get third at the end. But by howdy have we had a race.
Colin just got third by 25 thousandths of a second.
Neon in fifth. Kamke, sixth position there in the end. Good result then from the American. And Lamprin in seventh. But what a battle we just had there on the last lap. But Casper again extends that championship lead.
He really does. That was a magnificent, and I mean magnificent race from him. Starting P3 and, well, controlled the race for a little bit and then lost it back to Jane. But on that final lap, just having that bravery to send it. Oh, that was magnificent.
Indeed, like Casper, top step at the podium. That's his third. That's the hat-trick then of top threes in this season. Second and third, like JM, and we've also got the beautiful drivers as well of Colin as well. What a season we're starting to witness. But again, Casper proving that he is truly the champion of potential championship season. That's his third. He's done it again. And by the way, looking at Konkoffner's the worst result, 13th. His previous worst result was 6th. Speed Risky as well, 17th, of course, retiring from this race. Best results by from Lamprin, Gogs, and Okeke, by the way. Good to see his best as well as Casper also. His 4th podium this season. And both is the 3rd podiums for JM and Colin. But who do you think is your driver of the day?
I'm going to go straight for the bold gun and go for Casper, because after that amazing last lap, there's nobody else that I could give it to. But I mean, like, going into the start of Sector 2, that was an amazing send. So my question for Casper was, what was your thoughts going round lap 21? What were you thinking as you sent it under the brakes on lap 22? How do you feel? It's immense, but how?
Indeed, my drive of the day is going to be down to, let's see, let's go for someone else than Casper. Let's go and have a look, Len, and let's just say someone who's most certainly impressed me this afternoon has to be Gogs. He started P17, finished in P10, a nice recovery drive for him. My question to him is, although we saw not a lot of you, how was your race? Of course, getting P10, your best result of the season as well, your last being P12. How are you feeling right now as we now head in to the midpoint of this season?
It's been an immense race. This has Belgium definitely throwing some interesting battles towards the end of the race after the safety car. First end was a little bit, it was good, but I'd say definitely the end was the best part.
Indeed, and of course we'll go back and say thank you to all of our sponsors, Next Level Racing, of course. Thank you to Liam RBS, thank you to 3M Sim Racing as well, and thank you to our partners Vespertine and ERT and our collaboration with Time to Print. And don't forget also to use the code on their their SC store using the code 1HubRacing to get a 20% off this week's track, and I most certainly would do that if I could do that, because I love to get a nice keyring of Belgium. But of course, thank you for everyone for joining us. Of course, we now head into next week, of course, as we head to the midpoint of this season. But thank you very much, Colin, for joining me. Bryn, for joining me. My brain has melted, but I've been evil. Bryn has been Bryn. We'll see you next week. Take care, and goodbye.